Women do not exist to be nice on the eyes for you.
Yeah, but if you were a little nicer on the ears, you would be nicer on the eyes. Hello, everyone. We have an update of the update of the update. Oh, the Frosk Karen is back speaking out about...
You're letting your unconscious biases ruin my day.
Her epic fail of a rant about isms in gaming and blaming it all on being a woman instead of, I don't know, just not that great at her job. Just admit that you were probably a diversity hire. You were probably given a little bit of special treatment because you had a couple of extra check boxes, because you could hit the women and the L diversity boxes, and it looked good on a resume. You have an internet following for the esports stuff. You're probably a hardcore gamer. I'm complimenting here now. Probably a hardcore gamer. However, making it worse and doubling and tripling it down is making it worse. It's just making it worse. It's just making it seem as though we're all a bunch of unlikable, unqualified Karens. And you have gotten yourself now 2 weeks in a row
It's time for the Karen of the Week.
Karen of the Week award. No, this is for doubling down now. You could have just said, you know what, I'm sorry. I was in a bad mood, in a bad place. I've been there. I've been in bad moods. I've been in bad places. I've assumed that it's because of this, that, or the other, because we get some sort of treatment like this. Sometimes because of people like this, people like her, people like Kotaku. And as I said, we have the update of the updates. We have an article. Shout out to Bounding into Comics. G4 host Indiana Black responds to the isms in gaming rant.
Women do not exist to be nice on the eyes for you.
Yeah. The way to keep making it harder for women in gaming by complaining that women in... No, really. I'm being honest here. I'm being honest. And like I've said in my previous videos and rants, that people like her, people like me, people like Kotaku, people who actually do slip up and complain about this stuff instead of just being grown-ups and saying, you know what, I was being immature, I was being defensive. I was being immature and being defensive. Can you say that? Because I can. I did twice just now. Read some feminist literature to better educate yourself. Oh, blow me. I'm tired of this crap. You know, you don't need to lecture the male audience when women are the problem here.
Half of our producers and writers are women. Emily, Abby, Megan, Joe, Jake, Zipper, Gabby. It goes on and on and on.
Here we go, speaking publicly for the first time since the airing of her now infamous Isms in Gaming rant, G4 personality and XPlay host, Indiana Black, aka Frost Karen, aka Foreskin, aka Frost Karen. That's why you're the Karen of the Week, 2 weeks running.
You're letting your unconscious biases ruin my day.
During a recent broadcast of XPlay, after finding herself frustrated with a number of objections to her recent reviews, despite her admission, as seen later in this article, that she had, in fact, misspoken on 2 games. So she gets information wrong. She gets defensive about it. Heck, at least I can admit that I'm 90% parody, for crying out loud. But it's not about me. Black accused her critics of being istophobic towards her simply because she was not as bangable as the previous hosts.
I'm not as bangable as the previous hosts.
Maybe it's because the attitude. Like I said, physically, nothing really wrong. I mean, I hate nose rings and tattoos, but physically, fine, whatever.
You're letting your unconscious biases ruin my day.
Throws a whole team of women under the bus.
Half of our producers and writers are women. Emily, Abby, Megan, Joe, Jake, Zipper, Gabby. It goes on and on and on.
To say that, yes, these women wrote this for all of us. I'm not actually writing this. I'm reading a script, but I get flamed for it, even though these ladies wrote it here. People are even asking on Reddit, why are people hating on the lady hosts, especially Frosk? Because she yelled at us before we knew who she was. Like I said, I completely forgot I subscribed to G4. when they came back, because it's just one of those things. I didn't think I needed it in my life anymore. This isn't 2010. I'm not working at a job where I can come home and play video games all afternoon. We're all older and wiser. We all have different responsibilities and places in our lives. And I think G4 was a relic of that time period. That's why a lot of the hosts went on to do other things. That's why Morgan Webb's doing game development and stuff. And Olivia Munn's off doing movies, like Marvel movies, real ones. A user's question was soon met with a response from Black herself, who informed the user, apparently it blew up and now I'm spreading misinformation because I've made mistakes when talking about game releases. Oh, because you're actually working as a news source. I'm not a news source, and I can be 90% parody all I want and just react to stupid dumb things I find on the internet for entertainment. You're working for a corporatized, supposed to have fact-checking and a team of people writing these scripts for you. So if you're getting this information wrong,
half of our producers and writers are women. Emily, Abby, Megan, Joe, Jake, Zipper, Gabby. It goes on and on and on.
Yeah, people are gonna come down a little harder on you, and the lady whammons like Spork and Fishface that you threw under the bus. I don't know, the Scooter was one of them, Zipper, Safety Pin, Nose Ring. Oh, that's her. Sorry for not always getting it right, she dismisses her critics. I work a lot of shows, and game news isn't my strength or passion. So you work in that industry doing game news. Yeah, why not stick to just e-commentating if that's what your passion is? Why not move on to, hire Vara Dark for G4? I'm not even gonna put my own hat in the ring because I'd sooner sit there playing Fall Guys and Terraria until the end of time. And I'll probably be streaming some of that today, so stay tuned. We also do Play Along Jackbox, Use Your Words. That's basically Mystery Science Theater, the game. It's a lot of fun. And we do Wheel of Fortune some nights. I stream usually 11 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube. And sometimes on Twitch randomly, I suppose. I'm plugging myself and promoting my... No, don't plug yourself on camera. That's how you get an M rating. And that's why I go live at night really, really late. That and the Jiggle Cam. What's the Jiggle Cam? Ask them in the comments. Sorry for not always getting it right. Here's where I get defensive instead of actually apologizing. But if you inherently think women shouldn't be in your hobby, then making these mistakes becomes fixations just to justify my ineptitude. It's not because you're a woman. It's because you're a defensive... Karen about it. You're a defensive Karen about it, and you're going around saying that it's still because of your gender. Alright? And not because you just admitted yourself you don't even like the thing you're doing. Noting that League of Legends was brought up, Black rounded out her response by accusing the League of Legends European Championship of perpetuating rampant racism and sexism during her time in the organization, taking issues with such occurrences as English language broadcast events being hosted by white people. Oh, shut up! And key managers in Riot Esports saying incredibly offensive things about diversity and inclusion, thinking it's a bad thing. It is! I just told you why having diversity hires diversity in general is not a bad thing. Inclusion is not a bad thing. But it only makes people like you hired based on your diversity, and it doesn't help you any because then you feel defensive and inadequate and you feel attacked when you're clearly underqualified for the position that you're doing, that you're not even interested in. And if you can't get that through your bleach blonde head, then my dyed red head isn't yelling loud enough. She would have ended herself if I stayed at LEC, that's why I left. From the community and the toxicity and the management lack of support from the team and the peers. I had a full mental breakdown due to the working pressure and treatment from those managers. Well, I can kind of relate to going to people when you have issues with things, but I don't want to come off as cruel or anything, and nobody wants anybody to feel like they have to end themselves early. At all. However, this is exactly one of the issues I've been telling people about. We need to create a society where people are allowed to feel comfortable enough in their own skin where this type of stuff, these comments, don't matter. They don't matter to them because guess what happens? When they matter to you, everybody is going to say them to you. They're going to focus on that. They're going to bring it back. That's exposing your underbelly in the animal kingdom. That is giving people your weakness. Life is a giant RPG. You're telling them exactly what they can say to you to hurt your feelings.
You're letting your unconscious biases ruin my day.
However, despite her attempt to silence her critics by preemptively painting them as blatant istophobes, this user found himself unmoved by her flippant condescension, telling Black directly, "You are out of line. You wagged your finger at the community and you demonstrated your incredible unprofessionalism and lack of judgment that is not only immature but lacks any true self-awareness," he explained. "You obviously can't handle criticism and you have huge self-esteem issues. Your rant mentioning previous hosts and making bangability and jack-off comments were crude, inappropriate, and just vile.
I'm not as bangable as the previous hosts.
You alienated gamers who would have supported you had you just approached the issue without being toxic and insulting." Yeah, she could have just said, "Hey, I get it, I'm not Morgan and everybody, but, you know, hey, give us a chance." You know, just say something like that. I get it, nobody wants change, but don't take it as it's just a you thing, because clearly Gerard and the other guy experienced it too.
And yeah, it also happens to Gerard and TBH.
He continued, "I don't give a good goddamn that you're a woman. I am judging you as a person based on your actions and your words." I see, and I've gone to the defensiveness about it too, because sometimes it does feel like you're not. It's in your own head. It's an insecurity issue. I can admit that when I've done that, I've felt very insecure about some of the criticism I've gotten. And I think I've grown a little bit emotionally, hopefully in the couple of years since all this stuff has gone down. "I don't give a good goddamn that you're a woman," he says. But again, not about me, it's about her. "I will not be watching G4 because of your behavior and the toxic behavior of Sessler. You both destroyed the relaunch of G4. It's dead." Yeah, and anybody who is even only watching because of Sessler, after his comment about conservatives, yeah, even if you're not a conservative, you get shoved into that in this day and age if you just say, "Hey, maybe stop this woke stuff. I'm a woman and I don't like it that much," but no. That's how these people see everybody. They see everybody as being the attacker, and they see themselves as being the victim, not realizing that it's actually the opposite. Black patronizingly responded, "It was a 3-segment where we rant about something in gaming that bothered us. In a 2-hour show, seems to me you're letting your biases sway you is actually a problem." And she's still arguing.
"You're letting your unconscious biases ruin my day."
"If you think me asking people not to be sexist is toxic, then I don't think we're having a discussion in good faith." She ironically dismissed her critics, refusing to allow himself to be talked down to. Sean Finnegan explained to Black, "My criticism of you is specific and based upon your words and your actions. You are trying to paint me as biased, therefore you want to diminish my opinions. Sorry, you don't get to do that. You really didn't ask, you ranted, you lectured, you accused," he said. "You used a shotgun when you should have used a scalpel. You were making an emotional scree and were misguided from your response. Here you're still ignoring your responsibilities and your role. You are obviously of lowest self-esteem to compare yourself to previous hosts."
Because I'm not as bangable as the previous hosts.
They have and had nothing to do with what you were venting about. You were criticized for your lack of gaming knowledge, and you got butthurt and lashed out. You were toxic in the way you lashed out at everyone watching, all the people on the DM, against male gamers in general. We gamers, not just men, see you. You are correct. We are not going to have a good faith discussion because you lack the maturity and the responsibility to be accountable for your own actions. You own all of this. Maybe you should just attempt to be more self-aware of what you did and offer a sincere apology to those of us in the audience who didn't deserve the emotionally charged blast you released. Own it and apologize. I suspect it is far too late, however. Oh, and she's firing back. She's still going. She's still arguing. "I didn't get butthurt for not knowing something. No one is perfect, and I make mistakes all the time," replied Black. "I didn't even know people were up in arms about whatever. That speech was due to seeing years worth of sexist behavior to me, and you're proving my point with this post." That's not sexism. Nothing he said was sexist to you. He said you specifically show a lot of immaturity by comparing yourself to other people. Again, refusing to play Black's attempt to paint him as a bigot, the user told the host once more, "I am holding you to the standards that are genderless. As I stated, I don't care about your gender at all. I judge you on your words and actions alone. You claim you didn't even know. Well, you should have known all that information you provided was incorrect. Yeah, you work for goddamn G4 with a team of people behind you. That's what I'm holding you accountable for. And that your statements demonstrated you didn't know the material that you're paid to know about. You failed. Then you make excuses about it. No real personal responsibility. Is it her fault for not fact-checking the scripts that are written by other people? I don't know, but getting defensive about it is certainly not even the correct correct thing to be offended by. I would be mad at those bitches that she threw under the bus. It's Zipper and Scooter and Fishface and all those people. I don't know their names.
Emily, Abby, Megan, Joe, Jake, Zipper, Gabby.
The point is, those are the people who aren't doing the right research, right? The people who write her scripts for her. He added, so you have this buildup of years of sexist behavior, and you decide to lash out at the audience on your new gig at G4. Poor judgment. Now you're attempting to label me as sexist because I have a problem with how you acted and what you stated. Hey, G4, hire me. I've apologized for lashing out at people and very much aware that it was my own insecurity being like that. Again, please go in specifics on how I'm proving your point. He further pressed black. Exact details, please, because you won't, because you can't. You need to own what you did and accept that you were out of line in your broad accusations and your inappropriate comments. You should have addressed the individuals who made the sexist comments directly, he concluded. Instead, you lost your temper and your judgment. You fed trolls by showing you were thin-skinned and easily triggered. You used a broad brush. You seem to be avoiding this obvious fact. At this point, Black finally offered up more than just brief flashes of deflective snark, writing to the user, I did address the individual specifically. I didn't lose any temper of judgment. I was very controlled and delivered during a segment for exactly what that segment was for. You're showing your bias in the language you used to describe what was a 3-minute section for exactly that.
You're letting your unconscious biases ruin my day.
Things that were BS in gaming. Gerard was actually going to make the same point, but didn't need to after I did. And then we moved on. Well, he was probably going to make the same point that, you know, they don't like the new hosts because it's not Adam and Morgan. That's probably what he was going to say, I would assume. I'm going to put words in his mouth. Not that it was about him being, you know, an ethnicity or a diversity or any of that. But then we moved on and gave away an Xbox and continued with the content for a 2-hour stream because that's what we do. She then accused her critic of being part of bad faith actors that assume asking for people to stop being istophobic to a woman in the industry that is rife with gender discrimination and toxicity towards women / non-binary is somehow bad. Well, that's because people like you who don't even get your facts correct, people like Kotaku, everybody gets defensive. You don't just say oopsie and then move on. Like, I got super duper upset, and you could probably find a meltdown of me crying when I got some fact wrong when I went by some troll post. And you know what? I don't care anymore. That's just it. I'm not going to allow that sort of criticism have that sort of control over me anymore. Done. It's done. It's over with. But I'm not on G4. I haven't risen the ranks. I'm still on YouTube. So how is G4 ruining it for the rest of... Like, G4 is more sexist than anything. They're ruining for the rest of us by hiring these thin-skinned, temper tantrum throwing diversity hires. That's all this is. As a B in the alphabet myself, I can say that and I can call it for what it is. She was hired because she's 2 tiers higher on the LGBTQ plus LMNOP XYZ thing than somebody like me. Because let's face it, we all know how bisexuals are treated in the LGBT plus community. We're not allowed to have an opinion because we present as straight, or we can be presenting as straight. Or if we're in a heteronormal relationship, then that's problematic for these people. This is why I'm not part of the cult. This is why I say this wokier than thous, these zealots, these are the people who are ruining it for everyone. These are the people also who hate you and call you a conservative.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Just for not being a part of their cult. Alright, now I'm gonna be whipping up the rant music again. Moving to once again position her opponent as hateful. Oh, shut the hell up! I misspoke about 2 games, but it's been blown up as meant to try and attack me because the community is... Oh, shut up. So what? Only women can make mistakes about games? Is that what you're saying? If only women are making mistakes about games, then maybe women should be in the gaming industry then. Maybe you're ruining it for the rest of us, lady. Maybe you're making a point that women are too emotional to be taken seriously. I don't like that message, but for crying out loud, this woman has done more to discredit women in gaming than any woman from Kotaku has done over a decade of shitty journalism. Okay? And these are the people who write about the Xbox filled with too many holes and making them uncomfortable. I'm done with this article. Thank you guys so much for accumulating all of this. And I am Mecha. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye!